All right. Hopefully this is better. It was just, yeah,
Yeah.
cut out, so it was difficult to hear.
Yeah. So anyway, I was saying that I spent like yoga, and then I went to from yoga to CrossFit, and I continued with the yoga. I started doing hot yoga and Bikram yoga, and started just being so fascinated by movement in general, and the effects it has on my health. And
Mhm.
whilst doing that, I was also raising young children, continuing to work at the university, but also developed more and more of a passion to cooking and understanding food, understanding sourcing food, going to farmers markets, and I like to go all in, you know, general. So it wasn't just the training, it wasn't just the being in nature, it wasn't just the food, it was everything together.
Mhm.
And early on I discovered that you can't do, we're whole beings and we need a whole being approach. And
Mhm.
um, and so I kind of adopted that, and it became very quickly part of my philosophy. Like if I couldn't go to the gym, then I know I can always go for a walk. If I can't do my perfect meal, of course I had to go through the stages of being a perfectionist and overtraining and getting injured and all of these things. But that led me to really understanding that, you know what, there's a better approach,
Mhm.
and that approach can be definitely implemented in an easy manner. So because I want this long term, so I started learning a
Yes.
lot of understanding the long term game and the infinite game, and that I'm not doing this right now just to look good for the summer. Even though I had passed through these stages, I've struggled with body image issues in the past, and I wasn't sure what was that even coming from. So I started getting into like the psychology of things and reading more and more about, well, why is it that I'm feeling this way?
Mhm.
And then a few years later, I continued with CrossFit. I moved to Dubai, also continued with CrossFit, and then I hired a coach, and he trained me online, and I started getting really, really stronger, and just continued to just love. I love lifting, so my passion really is like strength training. I love the effect it has on my body, not just in the way my body looks, but it really how it has transformed my, I'm very careful with the word posture,
Mhm.
but it has transformed how I just face the world, really, how I stand taller, how I look, how I feel. Um, it has also made me focus more on performance and less on my body shape and size, throughout the seasons. It has made me realize how we don't have to look the same way all throughout the year as women. And then slowly, throughout that time, also I got my fitness certification, and yoga and everything. Just movement continued to fascinate me. I couldn't stop. It's very hard when you love movement so much to stop. It becomes really part of your life. It's not something.
Yes.
It is really part of you. And it's not anymore about, oh well, will I work out today? It's not even like, I don't ask that question to myself, right? It's just so embedded in my routine and in my life that, and I'm so grateful for it. It has really changed how I think about so many things. And then from then, I just, when I decided to quit my job 2018, and it's crazy that it's 2022, and here I am. I do personal training to, because you asked me about my clients, to all sorts of clients. I coach CEOs, I coach stay-at-home moms, I coach like, overachievers and high performers, and I coach teenagers now. I love working with
Cool.
teenagers, high school seniors, and like going to college. And there's a lot of the things, and you're gonna find that um, the things that you've struggled with in your life, like the universe sends you the same clients to help in a way. So yeah, this is where I'm at. I love working. I still work one-on-one. I teach some group classes. I love my one-on-one work, and I find that it's quite impactful. And there's more than the training that comes up. As I said, there's a lot of
For
sharing.
sure.
It's not just about, standing there and counting reps for someone.
You do really get to know people, and just, yeah, learn a lot through that about yourself also. And I think loving what you do, because you said, oh, you love what you do, is amazing. But that's also sometimes why we get towards that burnout,
Yeah.
because we're just like, oh, this is so much fun, I can do this every day. Well, why do I need
Yep.
to take a rest day? And in the moment, it doesn't feel like it's a stressor for the body, with so many things like, oh, this can't possibly be bad for me, it's so
Yeah.
much fun. But then in accumulation, of course, our body can't really differentiate between all
Yeah.
the different stressors. So I'm curious to hear how um, this has kind of snowballed for you in the past and how it showed up and what made you really realize, whoa, I need to take a step back and
Yep.
reduce it so that I can actually do this forever
Yep.
without putting too much strain on my body and while still being a good mom and a friend and all these other things.
Yep. I think it started last year. I worked I would say I worked myself to the ground, and I'm not proud of it. It's tough with sessions when you're driving also from one place to another. I'm teaching on the weekends. So even some of the weekends, I didn't have it to myself. I didn't create a lot of like boundaries because I wanted to work. I'm a single mother of two, and work is important. Creating an income is important. And I still had that mentality that I need to work. I also get a vacation in the summer. And this is when I contacted you. I contacted Lisa also because this is how I got to know her, because I wanted someone to support me in nutrition. Yeah, I know all the things. Yes, I know how to cook. Yes, I know how to create a home. I know, of course, you think as coaches, we always think we don't need help. We can get through this, and then I contacted Lisa. I was like, you know what? I need your support to just get me on the right track, or to just support me so I can have someone to say, like, here's what I'm eating. I just want to make sure I'm getting everything that I need, but I also want to make sure that because of the stress, that I don't just overeat things that are not benefiting my body, and consequently will not make me perform and feel my best, which is always what I'm looking for, right?
Yes.
So the way I dealt with this, honestly, is that I had to go through it, like really experiment what it's like for my body to shut down. It was pretty bad right before the summer, and there was so much happening. It's not just one thing happening. It's not just work. It's not just work and life balance. It's all life. Life is always happening.
Love that.
Um, yeah, I feel like we can't separate it. It's nice if you can. At some point, there's no line in the middle, right? We like to create this in our head, but yeah, it got really bad when my body just gave in. I can't explain it. My mother was visiting and I couldn't speak for like 2 days. It wasn't that I was depressed. It's just that my body, I was not, it wasn't even that I was not in the mood. It wasn't sad. I wasn't anything. It's just that I couldn't do much, except maybe taking a walk and then sleeping. So I was like, okay, that's not a great sign. And I decided to get to the States, and I'm in that I was privileged. A lot of people leave in the summer, and I was like, okay, this is a really good time to take a few weeks off from work. And then I got to the States, and I slept the first 3 days, of course, jet lagged and so tired. And I was like, okay, great. This is now, I know my body is really, really tired. I decided to spend every morning in nature. So I was like, you know what, there's nothing to do now but really work on myself. So I was like, okay, routine, which is something I love. I just wasn't doing it in Dubai as much. I would take myself to the beach here, of course, and I always have these rituals, but it's different when you have no responsibilities. And
Yeah.
again, I the privilege that I get to do this, that I got to do it. But it was more about, okay, just spending time in nature was so healing. Um, Understanding that burnout is not a result of one thing that I did. It's not that I did anything wrong, because the first thing we do is, especially as women, I don't know if there are men on the group, but especially, I'm sure there are, but especially of women, is like, okay, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And then we start searching and like, okay, I must have done something wrong. Okay, what did I eat wrong? How did I train wrong? I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong. It's just life happens and you got overwhelmed. I just read the definition of overwhelm. It's like when life is happening faster than what you can comprehend at a faster speed. That's what overwhelm is, and it's actually kind of a bit higher level than stress.
Yes.
Yeah, so I started like also reading and educating myself on stress, reading a few books specifically on stress, and definitely on stress that when it comes to women, because we tend to maybe live in our heads a little bit more. Understanding what is an internal stress, understanding self-perception, understanding self-talk, and what I tell myself you know, about myself, right? Like and I discovered a lot about how rare it is that I actually sit and think, well, I've come a long way, versus I want to go, right? I want to get better. So definitely slowing down, taking time to slow down on the workouts, because I was also overtraining.
Yeah.
and and I didn't realize that, because working out is healthy. What are you talking about? I need to get like my hour a day or 45 minutes. I need to go for my 10K run or my 5K run. I'm like, no, but I didn't realize that I was also stressing out my body. And I wanted to drop body weight. Wanted to get leaner. I don't like to say lose weight, but I wanted to get leaner. I wanted to perform and look the way I wanted to look. You know, we all have that. And I think we talked in the summer when you were a guest on my group, and I told you I just dropped 3 kilos when I was
Yes.
in America. Pretty much nothing, because I also injured my shoulder. And
Mhm.
then shoulder injury was another thing that just taught me so much about my body and really, really taught me to slow down. You
Yes.
know, of course, I went through all the stages of anger because I love training upper body. But yeah, it was really, and knowing that first of all, my body is resilient, and also needs me to create that environment for it to heal. It wasn't gonna magically happen. There was no one to come save me.
Mhm.
I had to implement things in my life and make a decision, and not say like, oh, okay, like it's gonna get better, you know, not having that self-talk, but really just saying, you know what, this is it. This,
Mhm.
you know, you don't want to burn out again. You just want to learn to slow down and give your body like things that it needs in terms of nutrition and in terms of boundaries. That was my biggest struggle, was creating boundaries with everyone, you know, and having those few non-negotiables in life, like taking a walk every day, you know, creating a routine that serves me, not overbooking myself, not saying yes to every social event, and learning to say no. That's actually, you know, forget the running and the working out and the dropping the everything. There's so many things that are, you know, internal that we need to work on, other than what we always associate with, oh, here's success, I have abs, or I can. No, there's a lot, there are layers. So I got to, you know, learn more, like, why is it that I'm burnt out? What happened? When did this start? And it had to do with really not me not creating a schedule, setting boundaries, um, and saying yes to everything. It's like, you know, I just had to tell myself, like, Yasmine, you're not going to do everything in life all at
That
once, you know.
that is, I think learning to say no is one of the biggest challenges for most people nowadays because, well, especially like coaches often have a helper nature. Mothers even more obviously determine or develop a helper nature. So we think, oh, one extra client, she needs me, I will take her on. Oh,
Yeah,
this week client Jenny can only do at 8 or 9 p.m. Okay, I'll make an exception. And then, you know, soon enough, you know, it's a regular thing that she wants to do it so late. And then your work hours extend. And then one day someone will ask, oh, can you do this on the weekend? And you think, oh, okay, it's just this once. And it adds up and it adds up and it adds up. And you put yourself last, you put the clients because you think they need you. And the same, of
yeah,
course, with your kids. I mean, they need you, everyone needs you. And I can imagine that often it takes some time, or at least from a coach's perspective, sometimes it's actually helpful to realize that people also benefit from your boundaries. If you
yeah,
say, no, I can't make this work, but I
yeah,
can make XYZ work. And then they make an effort, and because they make more of an effort, they value it more. Or if you
yeah,
say, no, I can't do this, or this is out of my work hours, or, you know, whatever it might be, or no, I have my me time, they start respecting
yeah,
you for that even more so. So I think that's actually really, really difficult to learn, but sometimes we have to hit rock bottom, or we have to actually feel really terrible in our body, in our mind, before we are willing to make changes. So
yeah,
super cool that you have now realized these things. And of course, it's not so easy as saying, oh, I've learned that and now I'm healed. Now I can suddenly implement all the boundaries and now I'm suddenly a master. This is all practice, of course. You say once no once, and maybe next time you say yes again, and then you're reminded of why you were supposed to say no, and
yeah,
like you get better at it. So I do truly like that. And you said you also work with a lot of other high performers, a lot of other moms, and so on. So with these people, how do you make sure that they don't fall into that trap of, oh, I want to do more, and don't I need to do more cardio, and I need to, is this enough? Is this really a hard, you need to work me harder, or whatever it might be. How do
Yeah.
you educate them on stress and how to prevent, I guess, overtraining and just being chronically stressed?
So especially with women, that always feel same, they're not doing enough, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I just two things. One, you making your that strength twice a week. That's 2 hours of your whole week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about 10 hours a month max. And eating, I don't care about it at this point. Have to be weight loss. These are not people that actually necessarily want to drop body fat, you know? But I that they're getting nutrient, high quality protein, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It, just implement one small thing at a
I like
not
that.
big. It's not big. And everyone thinks it's get on a meal plan and do it now. And I
Mm-hmm.
lift my butt 6 weeks. What?
Mm-hmm.
know, can I've been, someone told me I've been training for years. I never, I, but like random outs, no at all
Mm-hmm.
in the trains and eating one meal, but expecting
Yes.
caring. It's not, it's people do things and they're happy with whatever they're doing. The doing that are not serving them, but then having themselves and then being just in this, you know. So I'm just you have things to work on this month, and that's
Mm-hmm.
then we're gonna visit, maybe add, so maybe like up, or you're gonna drink a, or
I like that.
7,000, and just taking a picture and sending it to me. I have infinite. You're not patient with yourself. I have infinite
Yeah.
that I'm here for that. But the only thing that just show up for yourself. That's it. Without preaching, without anything. I want to see you. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So to work, kind of like not no pain, no mentality has not worked for my trade,
Yeah.
this is because it's not, so I don't attract clients maybe that want that. They we end up together, you know. I'd rather do whole body approach, a whole life supports a mother with a who has older children, for instance, 4 children. Just
Yes.
daughter has so many points since birth, and she's still so harsh on her, again, physical body. I had to
Yes.
look at, let's count the number of things, the number of phone calls you're on, the number of reports that you're sending to check on your daughter. And then she said, right, like, oh, she said once, this is the only time I get to just be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and calls and which for trainers it would be a no, focus, mindfulness, all this. But I don't ever let her make her call. But she's training.
Yeah.
Come to a good understanding that eyes on me, what we're gonna do,
Yeah.
and it's not the time when she's on the phone that I'm for anything, you know.
It's
And we
so.
start with it. I know you'll never see results. I'm like, she's not training for results. She's just training because
Mm.
she's not consistent. So it's always so. I've trained are on Zoom in their bedroom, I've
That's
trained,
awesome.
you know, she's on all she can. She just, the movement, she does the movement. You
Mm.
know, it's a lot of thumb or what to do. And she's, you know, and it, you know, and then she like, thank you so much. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Something is better than no movement. My philosophy can self done, and
Hmm.
self I have, so minute walk better than 0 minute walk.
Yeah.
You know, I can advise one of my friends to, all I want to drive to the gym, pick up your favorite coffee, drive, sit in the car, and then drive. And
Hmm.
she's, that's not gonna work. Just do it for a month, every like 40.
Hmm.
And she started doing it. Like, it's free. Drink my coffee and look at it, and then now I want you to go sit in the gym.
Yeah.
Don't. And then,
That's awesome.
you know, like someone who doesn't want to move, traumatized move. She's like, I love this people move. You
Wow.
know? We started going to classes at her gym. You know,
It's
she's in
it's
Germany.
it's so cool. I mean, I love the notion of making it work for you, for that person, for their life. Just like with nutrition, fitness is something that should fit into your life and not where you have to fit your life around it. And
Yeah,
of course, you mentioned like finding that right balance. For some people, something is better than nothing, but that doesn't mean something is always better than nothing. Like with rest days and so on, you know, those people that say, oh, should I extend my training from 1.5 hours to three or whatever? Absolutely, you know, not necessary. We want to find the minimal effective dose where your body can recover as best as possible as well. And do you have any specific, I guess, rules of thumb for your clients and for yourself when it comes to sleep and training? So, like, if someone says, "Oh, last night I didn't get, you know, I only got 2 hours of sleep," would you say
yeah.
to them, okay, we're just gonna really dial it down and walk around the block? Or, you know, like, do you have any kind of recommendations for that there?
So sleep. Don't sleep. Not, you're no longer human.
Mm-hmm.
Humans, you're dangerous actually. You know, in terms of performance, in terms of, you know, done. I'm sure studies that alcohol, you know, very sleep deprived, and so it's adding an stressor when you're not sleeping. Adding on that, you know, session is something that I two things. How many hours of sleep did you get today? Water. How much protein did you have?
Mm-hmm.
So before, you know, I had to, especially with teenagers, they are really not good at eating. I stopped this. I said, we're not going to, we get protein for
Yeah.
them, and take a circuit, you know, like, not like high intensity circuit, just like a few body parts. And then you're going to,
That's
don't come
yeah.
again your time and my time without eating. You know, bad. I'm never that, like, I'm not, you know, but I want you to know it's basically putting your money, you know, why would you do that? Like,
Yeah,
why,
absolutely.
I want you, you know, it's in there, you know, whatever I said, you know, show up better.
Yeah.
People like, really, it's gonna make such a difference. Like, if you're dehydrated, you want to help your body perform and
Yeah.
make the most out of your session.
Yeah.
That's what I want. So lack of sleep, absolutely. Turn to mobility. I coach mobility, some yoga,
Awesome.
um, you know, combine like in the session with, you know, and I'm there. Listen, I hate, I do the thing, can you get
Mm-hmm.
minutes just to walk?
Yeah.
Get a little walk in the middle, so no walk outside, having the, so
No, I
Sleep for
love all
me,
these. It's the basics, and that's what everything should be hinged on. So I love that you pay attention to that, because I think a lot of trainers would just be like, oh, more money, whatever, I train them no matter what. And but that educational piece is so important. And I have one last question, because I obviously want to honor your time also, but um, I hear so often, oh, I'm not sore in this workout, or I did a different program and I was like super sore. This was an amazing workout. And I personally think like soreness for the most part is not a good way of gauging how good a workout is. Like, especially coming from CrossFit, we both in the early stages, or a lot of not so great CrossFit trainers or people in CrossFit think like at the end of each workout, you need to be completely destroyed on the floor, and otherwise you did not give it enough, otherwise you didn't give your full effort. And so I think sometimes people come from with that experience or background to a trainer like yourself, and then they think your workouts are not working because they're not sore the next day. So how do you tackle that, and how do you educate them on how to gauge a good workout?
so I always are paying me to get you sore on a YouTube workout, but that's not individual needs, addressing those first.
Yes.
That's front and center, you know. Um, there are you're gonna new movement, introduction to the system,
Mm.
your body's gonna be sore,
Mhm.
but will that I'm intentionally trying to work so that, because people, that's very this set in the fitness, that if you, then it's not a good, you
Mhm.
know, and it really doesn't highlight a lot of really good work with clients, because the no pain no gain, like that industry, definitely here in Dubai, around the world, what it's like, but address let's address individual needs.
Mhm.
There are some gonna dial up the but I also, when it comes to lifting, for instance, is that I don't want you to, you have zero more, so a lot of rate of percent
Yeah.
as one model to gauge effort, but I also hate on reps and results, you know. Always when I train,
Mhm.
before we start the set, so no intention, very, very training. Definitely first rep to look at last rep, because that's too
Yeah.
easy, right? I want you to do reps, and the last one not easy, you know. We so I
That's a
so
really good way of gauging it. Yes.
yeah, because I want them to go not out of their.
Hmm.
Uh, so many of us are living out of their bodies because everyone's worried about the look. I want to care for my
Yeah.
thing, joint mobility, understanding, like tissue tolerance, how we are treating, what level. I don't go in detail. I want to.
Mm.
It's not, I'm a trainer in a lecture, but on reps in reserve,
Yeah.
and for RPE, not the same, depending on the person. And I ask them, like, you like to say I have, or do you like to say I'm feeling like 7?
Hmm.
And I say, like, I want them to own the set. I want
Yeah.
them to feel comfortable, travel, and I want them to enter a gym with basic
I
movement,
like that. Yes.
right? Because they don't have to depend on me for the rest of, right?
Yeah.
And I all, but there are no,
Yeah.
no you know,
No, totally.
are,
I think that's such a good way to think about it. And like for me personally, I think people don't realize what they can actually achieve with 80% effort all throughout life. If you consistently follow a training regime and you give 80% on average, you're gonna make huge gains with everything over the course of time, right? People always think like, I need to go hard out, and then they go hard out with nutrition and training, and then they fall off completely, and then they start again, and then As much like you can achieve so many things if you put in 80% effort most of the time. And 80%, that's still, like you say, it's a challenging rep, but that's not going to failure.
Yeah,
80% with nutrition, that's still challenging, and you have to practice some restriction most of the time, but you can have, occasional small treats here and there. Like it's
yeah,
with everything. If you think of like 80-20, or in stricter phases, maybe 90-10, and you do
yeah.
things consistently, you will achieve a lot. And yeah, I think you can definitely apply that
Yeah.
to training also.
You know, that's training. Okay, what if you're poor? Like I how nervous systems work.
Hmm.
Sense to,
Yeah.
I tell them it's not that hard. You can also make yourself.
Yes.
Can you,
Yeah. We were gonna wrap it up soon anyway. But I hope you all find this valuable, and hopefully the connection is not too bad. But no, that's absolutely fine. Continue your
um,
train of thought.
no, but I want to because it's not a and not a
Mhm.
measure of how hard you beat themselves up if they're not sore.
Yes. Mm.
And I thought no one even knows why. The way we understand it is that maybe,
Mhm.
but there aren't true, and it also depends on recovery.
Yeah.
Really hard was,
Yeah.
but I was recovering like I was sleeping really well. Does that mean my training was not effective? No. Does that mean I did not get stronger?
Mhm. Yeah.
It wasn't a measure I was using.
That, no,
But
it's such a good reminder.
30 days, if I make you so 2 days, and then or 3 days, you're losing a day. I'm
Oh,
saying you can't walk.
absolutely. Yes.
At the end of the month, you're gonna lose 10 days, 10 days of
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah.
So what good have right now? I haven't felt recovery. I haven't have a fever that is nervous system so sensitive. I say told me and also training with
Mm.
me for a long time, and
Mm.
she sleeps on average. I'm not for
Wow.
like she's straight hours. She's in
Mm.
the prod every single week. You know
Yeah.
when like ever recover. Um,
Oh, I hope that she will understand it too. But I mean, sometimes as you say, like people sometimes have to feel themselves that they need to make a change and really implement what you're telling them.
yeah,
But I love all the other measures that you've said, in the sense of how you approach your clients when it comes to training, when they come and see you, what you tell them, how you educate them on balance overall, on not pushing too hard, and I hope that you yourself can also continue with your own awareness. It's been absolutely lovely catching up with you. Thank you so much for
thank
your time. And
you.
yeah, I know we'll connect soon, hopefully again.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you, Yasmine.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.